available to Vincentian artists anywhere in the world, really. So anywhere in the world there's a Vincentian artist, exposure to the Vincentian community, the diaspora across the world. This would be the spot to come. I realize now that it's not how long you live, it's how well you live. There's some people that live to be 30 years old, but made such an impact on people that they feel like they live to be 100. And there's some people who live to be 100 and never really do anything with that time. People are separated and they can't be together. And I wrote the rest of the song based on that. The first 4 lines in the course is actually about my daughter. I don't try to write a song. I try to remain open. I try to keep my spiritual faculties open. Sparrow, Kitchener, Stalin, Arrow, the Bonavista Social Club, and my daughter. So I told her, I said, okay, I'll tell you what, anytime I go away and I come back, I'm gonna bring you a surprise, right? The first couple of lines in the song, I just got back in town, and if you do it to me, right there, baby, is where I wanna be. That was actually written about my daughter.
We are located at Ottawa, Canada. I want to thank you for coming on with us on Vinci Internet Radio for the program, Strictly Vinci. We have with us a Vincentian based in Toronto. Brothers out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. His name is Allan Agard. Allan, welcome to Vinci Internet Radio. Thanks for coming on to our program. Just give us a little insight of who Allan Agard is, so a lot of people want to know who you are.
All right. Well, yeah, listen, thanks for the invite to come on. I appreciate it. And, you know, anytime I can help support what you guys doing in Ottawa, let me know, because I'll definitely roll up my sleeves and help out however I can. I mean, Vinci love, right? You know how that go?
Always, Vinci family.
There you go. About me, I don't really like to talk too much about myself, but grew up in St. Vincent, born in St. Vincent, born in actually Indian Bay. Then moved to Cane Garden as I was growing up. Was a member of the cadet force back home during the independence celebration and all that, when the volcano erupted in '79. Then I left St. Vincent, '81, came to Canada. Big culture shock. Big culture shock. I mean, you know, back home, you turn on the radio, you hear R&B, you hear reggae, you hear soca, you hear calypso, you hear all the good stuff. Come to Canada, nothing, you know? And that kind of pushed me over the edge a little bit, because, you know, I heard Canada was this big melting pot, but in reality, I didn't see that in the culture, the way the culture was being portrayed. You know, you'd only get Caribbean music on certain radio stations, college radio stations, for like an hour every weekend kind of thing. And I thought that was pitiful. So music, I've been around music. I have an older brother who is a wicked bass player. And being around him as he was older than me, being around him and going to clubs and, you know, getting into the vibe and you know, playing percussions and learning, you know, chord progressions and so on. So from, I would say, like 1980, 85 onward, my musical journey began. And when I hit, I guess, 2011, 2012, that's when the whole thing really came to head for me, because I was sitting with some friends and we were watching Barack Obama and Mitt Romney have a debate about the election coming up. And I just felt that, you know, why is it certain political parties always trying to hide stuff, and they're not keeping the truth real, they're not being real with the voters. And that's how Dirty Politician really came on, because when I wrote Dirty Politician, it took like 15 minutes after watching that debate, and it was done, the song was done. So I just kept writing music, and I had a friend from St. Vincent came up, a Caravana, in 2016. Samuel Brown. I don't know if the name rings a bell. Sammy Brown.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Sammy came up and we were talking for a little while, and and I told him, yeah, I've been writing music, unbeknownst to me. He says, oh, really? Well, play something for me. So I played him Dirty Politician. And he said, and that was just a demo version that I had. And he says, no, you got to connect with Ozzy. And I'm like, but Ozzy living in New York. He's no, man, Ozzy's in Toronto. And that's Ozzy Gurley.
Yes, I know it's a girl. That's my friend.
Yeah. Okay, good. See, small world, man. Small world. So I connected with Ozzy, played him the song. And he says, how many songs do you have? And I said, I don't know, about 100 and something songs. And he's like, okay, come see me. So I went down and we talked for a little while. And together, we put together a band that can actually do what we need to do. So right now, the core of the Conscious Underground is Diana, Ozzy, and myself. And that's how the whole thing came about, because for me, it was more like, it seems as though the powers that be want to push the truth on the ground and bury it. And I say, okay, well, you bury it on the ground, it'll still be there, just a matter of time before it come out. So that was my focus, is working from a consciousness perspective. And to me, consciousness is truth. So if you defend truth, you have nothing to really worry about. You're going to get some pushback. You're going to get some people getting angry at what you're saying and what you're doing because they don't want the truth to come out. But the truth is the truth, and I have to defend that. So if you listen to any of our songs, as a matter of fact, all of our songs have a level of consciousness to it that, whether it's a spiritual song, a relationship-based song, a political song, or whatever the case may be, there is always a consciousness to it to try to show people, well, listen, there's something else going on underneath the covers that you ain't necessarily seeing. But through the music, I can elevate and create that awareness that, okay, you need to look deeper into what people say, and blind faith and trust in any leader can get you killed. So, focus on truth. So, that's how the underground came about. But what I'm seeing now is the conscious underground, to me now, is actually not about me, Diana, or Ozzy. It's about the people who hear the songs and go, I dig what this guy doing. I dig what this group doing. I get it. So they are truly the underground. And that's how the message is spreading, is one person hear the song and pass it on to somebody else. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, before the host comes in, I want to pick you up on an offer, because we want to build a strong community. So we'll be talking sometime about collaborating things and getting things organized, building a stronger community here, because our aim on Vinci Internet Radio is to push Vinci culture. Basically, that's what I try to do. And when the first response I got from you when you say Vinci family, I say, this is a Vincent show.
True.
So that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna talk a lot about collaborating and doing other things.
Okay, beautiful. Love it. Oh, I just want to say something too. I was looking at the Carifta Games a couple of days ago. I don't know if you guys heard about Keo Davis not winning. He got a bronze medal in the 100 meters and silver medal in the 200 in Jamaica for Carifta. So big up yourself, man.
Yeah, and we want to say congratulations to St. Vincent and the Grenadines Carifta team. I think they did well this year.
Absolutely. I was pleasantly surprised. Back in the day, when I was doing track and field and all that for St. Martin's Secondary School, I was hanging around Mike Yalavere and Mooney, Bernard Thomas. He was, like a superstar on the island at the time. So, the training and everything that went into, preparing the foundation for people like Keo Davis, who's enjoying all the hard work that people like Ali's and all those guys laid down years ago. Beautiful thing to see.
I know all the guys you talked about. Even Mercy taught me in school too.
Okay. All
so
right.
I know all the guys that you're talking about. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's something. Before I go, I want to ask you one question. Are you related to Sam Agard?
Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, anything is possible these days.
He's from Mount Pleasant area.
It's possible. Not sure.
All right.
I'm coming up here and I'm meeting people that have been in my family for, long time, and I have no idea that they're related to me until recently.
That's work sometimes.
I want to say, give a shout out to everyone who's locked on to Vinci Internet Radio, locked on to our program, Radio Land and Facebook, Vincentian in the diaspora and the whole. Welcome to Vinci Internet Radio. Right about now, I'm going to reintroduce our special guest, Mr. Allan Agard from Conscious Underground. Allan, it's a pleasure to have you in our program, man, and welcome to Vinci Internet Radio. But like we say in Vinci, big up yourself. So I'm going to say large up yourself, size up yourself, because you're done bigger.
Yeah, respect for that, man. Listen, I said before, I love St. Vincent. I love the culture. There is no other island in the Caribbean that have the heritage that we have.
True.
I mean, the land of the blessed. Think about that.
True.
Sure. There's no other island in St. Vincent. I don't know if you guys remember Dr. Kirby.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time with that man talking about the culture of St. Vincent, and he basically showed me some things that they weren't even teaching in school. He told me, as an example, the first Africans arrived in St. Vincent were not slaves. They were free. They escaped a sinking ship that was leaving Trinidad going to Cuba, and they used the Grenadines to come up to St. Vincent. And that's how the first Africans actually made it to St. Vincent. Didn't know that. They wouldn't even teach that in school.
A great historian he was.
Yeah. I enjoyed talking to him because he told me about the Caribs and actually took me up in heading up towards Mumbentic area with a metal detector, looking for signs that the British and the Caribs were fighting up there at some point in the 1600s or whatever. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's what we always see, man. We want to get those kind of people on. They can pass on the knowledge of our heritage and or the history of our country, because a lot of us just exist. We don't really know much about, like you say, they don't teach you certain things at school. So,
True.
Yeah.
So and that's and again, you see, that's the great thing about truth and consciousness, because that's the truth that, in my opinion, some certain people may have wanted to keep buried. But the fact that Dr. Kirby actually, took me aside and started showing me these things, it opened my mind to a whole different way of thinking. St. Vincent is truly the land of the blessed. And the people that are there have a great heritage and a responsibility to teaching that heritage to future generations. So keep up the good work.
So yeah, man, that's what and I have to tell you, keep up the good work too, because you helping the flag fly a little bit higher.
Well, true.
Yeah, one thing we appreciate, people when they, even doesn't matter what you achieve, you still remember that you still remember your heritage, that you're still Vinci, it's in your blood, like Colin would say, Vinci to the marrow. But yeah, I want to go back because I just when I just came on the program and sorry for being late.
Yeah, no worries.
You don't want to know what happened. I actually just went to relax and I fell asleep. Even CP was trying to call me.
Yeah, no worries, bro. No worries.
But yes, and I heard you said that you don't like to focus too much on yourself, but on the group, Conscious Underground. But to get to the group, because you're the founding member of Conscious Underground, or one of the founding members. Sure. So I just want to dig a little bit deeper into your background. Like, tell us exactly where in St. Vincent you're from, and and stuff like that, and then we'll take it from there going on.
Right. Well, born in Kingstown, but from birth until about maybe 6-7 years old, I was living in Indian Bay with the family, my mother, father, and my two brothers. My pops passed away in 73-ish. So then, we moved from Indian Bay and we went to Cane Garden. And I was living in Cane Garden until I came to Canada in 81. Like from me, just being around the music, being around, you know, I'll tell you something. I have a cousin. His name is Kurt King. He's living in New York now. Kurt used to live down by cemetery down Bottom Street, and he was putting in a stereo system in his car. So I was helping him, and he said to me, "Your job now is to sit in the back seat and listen, tuning up the speakers, right?" So I'm sitting and he's, you know, moving the tweeters from, you know, from up by the window, pointing them towards the back seat and, you know, making the sound, like shaping the sound. So he says, "Okay, I think I have it now. Let me put in some music and check it out." So he put in a cassette. Some people may not remember what that is, but he put in a cassette and turn up the volume. So I'm sitting there and I'm hearing this music very faintly in the background growing. And I'm like, "Kurt, turn the thing up." He goes, no, it's at 7. I don't want to turn it up anymore. I said, "I can't hear it." He goes, "Just relax." And I'm sitting there and I'm listening and I'm listening. I would have been about maybe 10 or 12, no, well, about 12. And all of a sudden, there's a natural mystic blowing come on the radio. And I was like, away by this song. And that was me. Like, I mean, reggae just completely opened my eyes. That song is a song that got me interested in music. I'll put it that way.
So it's just pure consciousness from long time that injected in you.
Yeah, yeah. You know, there's a better way of living than we're living now. You know, there is no reason why, you know, 1% of the world's population control 90% of the wealth. You know, yeah, people have 80, 90, $200 billion in the bank. For what? Where are you going with that? There's people who can't even afford to buy a meal today. And there's somebody with that kind of money who, you know, no, that's just wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah, so you moved to Canada, and then you decide to also continue the trend of reggae as opposed to soca or calypso, which is dominant in St. Vincent.
True.
And in Rich, of course, you could have done social commentary, you know. So what is the vibe into the reggae feel now that is it
caught my attention? Yeah. I think honestly, and I'm thankful that, you know, the age that I was at when I got exposed to reggae, it was rutical, it was conscious, it was real music. You know, you can sing praise to the Almighty with reggae. You can sing a love song to your old lady with reggae. You can call out the politicians with reggae. I mean, there's so many. As far as I'm concerned, reggae music is the only music that has the breadth and depth to do that. You know, as an example, now reggae has so many different branches to the tree. There's dancehall and Nyabingi and so on and so on and so on. So many branches to the tree. To me, roots reggae is by far the most powerful music there is on this planet, period. And I figured, okay, if I keep the roots reggae as the backdrop, the foundation of the music, but layer over top of it R&B, jazz, you know, any other style of music that I want, classical, whatever, it is still reggae, but push the avenue. I want to push the boundaries of reggae music to a point where I don't like this thing called versioning. I don't know if you know versioning.
Version, like
yeah, 20 men singing on the same rhythm.
Yeah.
Right? I don't like that. To me, that's disrespectful. If you're gonna spend the time to write a song, write a song. Don't copy somebody else's rhythm. You know, write a song that is yours and produce it and put it out. So that is one of the things that I made it quite clear to everybody. I don't want to sound like, I don't want one song to sound like another song. I want each song to be completely unique, stand on its own 2 feet, and do the job it's supposed to do, which is go out and touch people's hearts, minds, and souls. So I don't like this versioning thing.
I can relate to your reggae music also, you know, because growing up also listening to a lot of music around in the 80s as well. we didn't really distinguish that reggae music, or we didn't establish, I should say, reggae music belongs solely to Jamaica. We claim reggae music as our own also, because when we listen to it, we can relate to it. And so, there's, a lot of people around the world, they also can relate to it, because if you check in Europe right now, reggae music and conscious and cultural reggae, very, very popular in Europe.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I don't know, about maybe 7 years ago, I was in Europe. Went over for about 6 weeks just to see what's going on over there. And at that time, there was great upheaval going on in Greece. I don't know if you remember picketing and riots and all kind of fire burning and all this. And there was somebody at the hotel told me, go down to the beach tomorrow because there's going to be a protest. And I'm thinking, if what I'm seeing on TV is what's really going on, I don't want to be anywhere close to that. So he said, no, be peaceful, man. It's going to go down. And I'm walking down the beach towards where these people are hanging out. And this is in Greece, where they don't speak English that well. And I get up, stand up. Oh, I was like, what? I'm walking closer towards now, and I'm seeing Greek Rasta men with dreadlocks past their waist and all. I was like, really now? This come on out here. Okay, all right. So like the Jamaica may have created reggae, but reggae belongs to the world, And I heard, there was a big upheaval about Soulja when they won the Grammy for the reggae album. People get bent out of shape with that. Okay, well, let me put it this way. Blues was created in America, right? And jazz was created in America. So if somebody from England do a blues album and they win the blues Grammy, they have a problem with that too? No.
True.
It don't work so. Music is music. It's either good or it's not. Period.
True.
Yeah.
That's just pushing the music to a higher level for you to up your game, a little bit more, So
there you go. And I think one of the reasons why Soulja won is a lot of Jamaican producers use a formula in their music, and that's why a lot of the music sound the same coming out of Jamaica. And they need to get out of that vibe. They need to get out of that box that they put themselves in. I mean, the producers, as far as I'm concerned, in Jamaica, the producers are the ones making the money because they put the rhythm, they put a superstar on it, sell million streams or whatever, and then everybody else want on that same rhythm. So the producer is the man making the money. But he, as far as I'm concerned, is belittling the value of the music by doing that. So our focus in the Conscious Underground is to create truly unique and original songs. Period.
And I must say that when I listen to your music, I hear a lot of drums in it and acoustics, and that kind of really make me remember my 80s life of listening to the real conscious reggae. So big up to you and Conscious Underground, man, that you guys are keeping the flavor alive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some people that like what we do, and there's some people that don't like what we do. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with people not liking what we do. I mean, I'm not here to please nobody. I'm here to do, God's work, really. As far as I'm concerned, the whole process of this is about God consciousness and truth. And, the music has to reflect that.
True. I'm glad you said that because, even us, CP and I, a lot of people, some people don't like, some people think we're doing the interview for too long, and some people think, but you got to remember sometimes the critics who think that they give you the negative part of it, they're the ones, they don't even follow you. They just listen to one or two of your thing and just feel, things. So just keep on doing what you're doing, man, and just, if two people can be strengthened or uplifted by it, or one person, it's worth it,
Bless you for saying that, because I actually, when we released The Way of the World, a lady in Washington, I don't remember her name now, reached out to me on Twitter. and told me that after she heard the song the first time, she cried. So I asked, I said, why did you cry? She goes, I have never had a song touch me in such a way that I feel completely alive now. That blew me away. And as I said to Ozzy after she told me that, hey, we did our job. We touched one person. That person is now fired up and ready to touch somebody else and pass the love along. So that's what it's all about: is elevation and strength, really.
And you came to Canada and you came in 1981, but you formed this group in 2012, if I have to be correct. So what were you doing between those years? What was your role there?
Learning. Learning about music, learning about the different forms, different styles, different aspects of music. At one point, I actually spent about 2 years just studying drum and bass. Just studying how, and drum and bass for reggae, drum and bass for rock and roll, drum and bass for blues, drum and bass for R&B. Just studying all that and figuring out how I can blend all of that into a reggae kind of vibe. And so I spent a lot of years studying, man, a lot of years studying music. And, within there, I spent maybe 3 years also reading the Bible from cover to cover. And I did that twice just to make sure that I reinforce what I think I understand from the previous thing.
Wow.
So all of that, comes to bear whenever I get inspired. And 90% of the time that I write a song or inspired to write a song, it's either I'm out somewhere in nature, because I like to go for walks out in the forest and see the animals and all that. Kind of reminds me of back home, nature.
True.
And I find most of the inspiration come to me, when I'm completely alone in nature. You don't hear no cars, you don't hear no planes, none of that. It's just pure quietness and stillness. And when you're still, when your mind, your heart, and your soul is still, that's when you're in God consciousness. That's when you're in God's presence, because you're not being affected by something you hear or something you're thinking about. God is in the moment. God is right now. God is not yesterday. God is not tomorrow. God is right now, here and now.
True.
I tell people the most powerful way to live is harness the power of now. Don't think about tomorrow. Don't ponder yesterday, because that ain't coming back. Deal with right now. That's where life is right now.
True. And before CP comes in, it's so amazing that you talked about reading the Bible multiple times, because when I heard the word conscious underground force, I was expecting to see a dreadlocks man, or dreadlocks rasta man, or real Navy man. So, you focusing on God, I think it makes you propel to be a better songwriter, because once you focus on God, everything is surrounding and everything becomes natural, because there's a natural mystic flow. So big up to you again of your style of writing, the way you do your music, man.
Yeah, well, something, to me, Morgan Heritage put it best: you don't have to be dread to be Rasta, right? It's a divine conception of the heart. My heart have so much dreadlocks that my heart fully dreaded, man. I'm telling you, fully dreaded. And nobody can take that away from me, because experiences that I go through coming up kind of reinforce the fact that once you have the personal experience of the struggle, or the personal experience of racism, or the personal experience of being held back, you realize, okay, I got this. So yeah, to me, the whole concept of Rastafari is liberation. And there are those who ridicule people for dreadlocks, whether they're white or oriental or whatever. To me, God is not going to tell a man, you can't enter the gates of heaven because you don't have dreadlocks. Right?
True.
God ain't going no, that's not what it's about. So to grow dreadlocks is easy, but to take the vow of the Nazarene, that's a different thing. Completely. You know, you gotta shun alcohol, you gotta shun being around dead people. You know, you gotta eat certain foods. You know, like I mean, there are 100 and I believe 130 principles to becoming a Nazarene, but people only focus on a couple, which is grow the beard and the dreadlocks and everything cool from there. But no, you can't drink alcohol, you can't do this, you can't do that, all of these things. So for me, it was important to learn truth at a young age because, you know, back home growing up, you know, the old people would tell you, boy, if you go outside in the dark, you know, this gonna happen to you, and you know, they scare you, right? So my focus was, okay, I have to know what really going on in this world because anybody can come and tell you something, and if you don't know the truth, you're gonna believe them. So my focus is on knowing versus believing, because when you believe, somebody can change your belief system and mess your head up. But when you know a thing through personal experience, people can't change that. That's forever, you know?
Alan, you were talking all about England and reggae music. I experienced it from this radio station. It changed the concept of the music that I play between midnight and 5 o'clock.
Really?
Conscious reggae is a big lift still in Europe.
Wow. Okay.
It drives the meter up.
Yeah.
Calypso now is taking over a bit because sometimes I kind of switch it. But Calypso also is making a good impact in New England. So I usually mix it between 12 and 5, and basically the conscious lyrics, the old time reggae as we call them.
Really?
Those are still the strong in Europe. So
you see, as like I said earlier, right? Music is truth. And if it's written the right way, it'll live forever. You know, I guarantee you in 100 years from now, people are going to be still listening to Peter Tosh and Bob Marley and Bunny Wailer and all them men. But who they're listening to today, nobody going to know in 100 years from now. Because back in those days, these guys had a real battle on their hands. You know, they had real issues to deal with. Today, people are just trying to rape the music and make money, you know? So the songs that they're doing today, they ain't gonna last, you know?
And I say that because you talk about three, because sometimes I get message from people say, oh, you know what I like about your station? Sometimes you play those old Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Bunny Wailer, and so I kind of keep that trend. But in going up forward now, when you sit down to write a song, do you look at first the music, the lyrics, or something that just come to your head? How you go about compiling a song?
Okay, good question. I don't try to write a song. I try to remain open. I try to keep my spiritual faculties open. And most times it comes as a melody. You know, so I'm walking somewhere by myself, or you know, I also like to go down to the lake as well and just be around water from time to time. So I find that when my mind and my soul and my heart is still and it's open, that's when stuff comes. Sometimes I get dreams too. You know, I could have a dream where I'm walking somewhere, and again, it's typically I'm walking, going somewhere in my dreams. And as I'm walking, I hear music playing in the background. And as I'm walking, the music get louder and louder and louder till I can actually pick out the bass, and I can pick out the guitar, and I can pick out the keyboards and all this kind of stuff. So when I decide now to add lyrics to it, I already know what the bass is sounding like in my head because of the, you know, walking so towards the music and hearing it. I know what the bass sounds like in my head. I know what the drums sound like in my head. And I can play a little bit of keyboards and some guitar, but I use sequencing to put the frame around the song. And then when I go to the studio, you know, Ozzy and everybody else come in and add their part to it to, you know, make it sound the way it does.
So by doing that, you always have a pen and a piece of paper with you?
you know something? I can write a song in my head without any kind of musical instruments or pen and paper or anything. As a matter of fact, So Sweet, that actually came about through a conversation I had with somebody. You know, she hadn't seen her boyfriend in a long time. He was in the US and she was here. And she was telling me how she miss him, and you know, because of COVID and the border lockdown, she can't, you know, all she can do is a telephone call, you know, FaceTime. And she said, that ain't enough. You know, I need him here, I need him to come, blah, blah, blah. And I wrote that entire song one night. And I didn't have a pen or paper or you know, Word or anything like that to type in the lyrics. It just flowed. And it took me a couple of days to put a sequence pattern together for it. And that was it. So again, I can tell when a song is truly divinely inspired versus my ego trying to do something with music. I typically try to kill off the ego vibe, because to me, I mean, ego, EGO, edge, God, out, you know? That's what the ego does. The ego can't deal with what you're doing right now. The ego always has to tie something to the past or tie something to the future. And it creates stress and all this kind of stuff around. So for me, when I write a song, I know when it's divinely inspired, and I know when my physical ego self trying to make me, trying to make the song or make the group look a certain way. I kill all of those vibes. I don't want nothing to do with it.
So you look at basically at the storyline.
Yeah. Typically the melody comes to me as the chorus, which is the most important part of the song, because that's the part of the song they hear more often than anything else, is the chorus. So and when I'm out walking, and the good thing about being out walking or being out in nature is that typically there's nobody around me, so I can start actually humming and singing and, you know, working out the melody in my head as I'm out there. By the time I come home, I have a structure of a song in my head that I can start actually putting pen to paper, you know? So that's why I have so many songs. I mean, at one point, you know, the music would wake me up at night. Now I wake up at like, you know, 3-4 o'clock in the morning with this bass line in my head. And I'm thinking, why is this happening? And I realized that if I didn't start doing something with why it was waking me up, it'll just continue to wake me up. So that's what I did. I started hearing music in my dreams, and I started, you know, putting pen to paper to get the feel and the vibe of what I want. So, hey, and I also think that there are literally billions of songs in the ether, and unless you're open consciously and spiritually, those songs are out there just waiting for somebody to say, okay, I want to come through him. I want to come through that group, and the music come out. So I think the music choose you to come through. I don't really consider myself writing a song. I think the song choose me to come out of. That's what I feel.
So one thing I want to let you know, I need your catalog, because on a Tuesday night, I have a reggae program from 8 to 10 up to fill the time.
Okay. We have 8 songs out there now. So what I'll do, I know I sent you some before. So what I'll do is I'll see which ones I sent, and the ones you don't have, I'll send that to you as well.
Because more content I get in the program gonna be longer.
True say.
So because our thing is basically is to promote, inspire, and push Vincentian culture.
Excellent.
So yeah. Anyway, again, even on a Thursday, now that I have some reggae music from you and from another brother, on Thursday from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. on this station, it's only Vincentian music.
Beautiful.
Now I have some reggae music. I'll be splitting it in between and make sure that the reggae artists out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines get some earring too within that Thursday period.
True.
So that's why I was so happy that when you send me those songs, you know, and the first thing I do when people send me songs like that, I don't know how they find me, but I won't want to go further. I want to give you an interview. I want to make sure that you know that, hey, we are here. And the reason we are here is to promote.
True.
Right? So
bless up for that, man, because it's not an easy game that we're playing here, you know? And coming from a little island like St. Vincent to try to take on the world, it's not an easy game. It's not an easy road. And, you know, however we can make it easier for each other, help each other up along the way. That to me is probably most important because, you know, if you look back through growing up back home as an example, you know, if Miss Jones see you walking down the street and you ain't say good morning to her, your mother and father gonna hear about that before you reach home, you know, and you're gonna be in trouble. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a village lifestyle, you know, it's a village lifestyle where, you know, we help each other along the way, and you know, we look out for one another, and we protect the best interests of the village, you know.
You see, and I grew up with, now you talk about that, I can just talk a little bit. I grew up with that because my father was a headmaster. And discipline was one of the things, but he helped almost everybody in the village when it comes to doing something that beyond the reach.
See,
so I grew up with that. So that's why some people, when I tell people sometimes, my father will be having his dinner, lunch, and somebody come, he's going to leave that and go help somebody. No, I try to do that, and people say, well, why are you doing it? I say, well, it's in me. I can't get out of it, you know?
You see, that's the problem. That's the problem right there, is when you help somebody, you're not doing it because you expect something back from them. You help them because you think you can make a difference in their life, you know, make life better for them. And I believe in karma. So when you do things for the right reasons, you know, like you're motivated by the right reasons to take this particular action, you get repaid somewhere down the road. So whether it's a good thing or a bad thing you do, you get repaid. And I'm sure you are probably living proof of your father's good karma that he planted all of them years ago. You're benefiting from it today.
You know, and I can go a little further. My father, you know, those days when people had to go to Trinidad and to Barbados to get visa to the States.
Yeah.
My father used to pay his own passage. Look for nothing from nobody to go to Barbados with them just to help them to get a visa.
Wow. You know, man, your father is an angel, man. Your father is an angel.
So I say that because a lot of people, when I do things to people, sometimes I do my things and lead to, and I say, it's something in me, I can't get away from it. So I try to tell people to understand us. Because a lot of people who come out here don't really understand us. But once you understand where we are from, our culture is always a helping culture. You know, I don't care what anybody want to say. Coming from those culture is always, I help you, you help me. I scratch your back, you scratch my back. But a lot of people out here do not understand the culture.
Well, they don't care either. Because a lot of people are selfish, self-centered, egotistical people who out for themselves. You know, they don't care about other people. Is what can I get today? Who can give me something today? You know, as far as I'm concerned, the greatest things in life come from giving. Your mother gave you birth. You know, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. The best things in life come from giving. But there are people out there who have a profession where their job is to take. That's all they do is take. And you know, I'm not into that. If I give you something, I expect somewhere along the way you're gonna give somebody something too. Here's an example. I had a friend who came up from St. Vincent back in the early 80s, and he came. He's living here permanently now. He's a chef for Hamilton Tiger Cats, head chef. But he came up here in the winter. So he never really had like gloves on, a coat and boots and all that. And I went to school with him in St. Martin's. So when I bump into him, I realized like, wow, you know, I got to help this guy out because he ain't got boots up, you know, nothing. He came not prepared for winter. So I took him out and spent some money and bought boots and gloves and so on. And I told him, I said, you don't owe me nothing. Just pay it forward. If you see somebody in need, help them. Just pay it forward. And that was, to me, one of the best things I ever did, because today, you know, this man is probably one of my closest friends. And you're talking, you know, from seeing him in St. Vincent in 79, 78 till now. And, you know, I mean, he's still a good friend, you know? So, yeah.
And that's how we should do. And always make sure that each other, that you do something for, enjoy it, and somebody's going to benefit from it. But anyway, continue with the music. Do you, as a group, go out, say, in the Toronto area and play at different venues?
COVID actually put a major damper on that. We did one appearance in 2018, a New Year's Eve thing. And then right after that, COVID came in, and you know, I as far as I'm concerned, I don't want anybody to be at risk by playing a show. You know, safety and security is more important to me right now, because without the people that I have around me doing what I'm doing, it wouldn't be as potent. So I got to protect the best interest of everybody. The time will come when we're going to do shows. Now that we have more material out, you know, we can put on a good, you know, 45-minute set. The intention is that, you know, probably I would say within the next year or so, you're going to be seeing more of us doing live shows, live performances, live appearances, and getting it going, because I know people are beginning to ask questions about, okay, as an example, the song that we released in March, Love Yourself, that actually on UK reggae charts right now. Last week it was number 18 on the top 20 in England. And it's on the reggae charts here in Canada as well, number 10 on the, you know, the top 10. So the song is getting noticed. And, you know, to talk, you know, CP, you talk about Europe and reggae. We actually had a song So Sweet out last year, and I was shocked to see in Spain how much people in Spain were actually streaming. It freaked me out, you know. So yeah, you know, if you make it in Europe, you're gonna make it everywhere else, especially in England. If people in England love your vibe, it's gonna spread.
Because as I say, you talk about Spain, Italy, France, Spain, England is some of my most popular listeners. You wouldn't believe it.
Don't forget Germany too.
Yeah, a little bit of Germany.
Yeah.
But I tell you, I have more listeners in that area, part of the world, than basically in this side of the world. So yeah. I know exactly. And the reggae music is the music that taking it up while I trying to mix it with a little bit of calypso in it. Yeah,
good. You know, because I mean, calypso is a very important part of Caribbean culture. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love soca. Like, to me, one of my favorite soca songs is Splinters. You know, I could hear that song. I can never get enough of it, to be honest. And to me, soca is very important. But soca has its place. And I think if you want to have a good time in a party and a dance and, you know, good, clean fun, soca music will get you there. But if you're looking for something with a more of an edge, you know, it's definitely reggae. And by the way, I want to add some soca or calypso or anything along those lines, even Latin kind of vibes, you know, salsa and merengue in some upcoming stuff that we're working on now. So yeah, you know, I want to be able to embrace full culture all the way across the spectrum, that, you know, people don't feel left out, you know, from it. I actually had a DJ in Mexico tell me that you know, he plays reggaeton, and he says, you know, this song, Love Yourself, my audience love it here. Okay, yeah, who am I to complain? It's a good thing.
In case you just joined us, we're talking to Allan Agard, founding member from the group Conscious Underground. Allan, you said something when you were talking to CP there that you believe that, and I think it's a really powerful words that you said, that your music chose you, and that sometimes music you think music choose who or the channel they want to go through, and that's destiny. And I kind of like the idea, the way how you put it, you know. So so I want to ask you about that same song that you just started there, Love Yourself. It seemed to be that song like is more like a therapeutic song for someone. What was the inspiration behind that?
Good catch. Originally, when I wrote the song, it was more of a spiritual vibe, more of a gospel vibe to it. But I knew I loved the melody. So when we got into the studio, I was talking to Ozzy and some of the other guys, and they told me, listen, this song has something to it, but you want mass appeal, change the lyrics, make the lyrics more of a relational thing, you know, man, woman, whatever the case may be. So I took a couple of weeks and I rewrote the lyrics in the melody the way it was. And then I went back to the studio, and when we did the first run through, I looked around and I see, you know, the look on certain people's face was like, okay, I think we got something here. So the whole idea behind Love Yourself is, you know, I'm online a lot, and you know, sometimes I look at TV a little bit. Sometimes I don't really spend a lot of time on TV, but more online. And I see people talking about they're looking for love, they can't find love, they're always attracting the wrong people. Oh, why, you know, and so on and so on and so on. So I said, okay, there's something here. There's something here to this concept about love. So let me do some investigation. And I remember reading a line in the Bible where Christ said, don't forget to love your neighbors as you love who? Yourself. So if you don't love yourself, you can't love nobody. So then I took that as the theme, the base of the whole song was, you can't love anybody until you start to love yourself. So then I said, okay, let me look at this in a broader spectrum. How can I now take this concept and apply it? So I started to realize that people are trying to find love in another person. They're trying to find their validation of love through somebody else. Never happen. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get, you know, taken advantage of, all these other things. So the key now is to find love within yourself. And then once you find that and you fortify your soul with it, you can then share that love with anybody you want. And there's no issue. There's no problem, because you know what you're all about. When you depend on another person to validate who you are and what you're about, you're in trouble. So that's the whole concept behind the song, is love yourself, so that way you can love more people and love other people, you know, with that love. And that's God consciousness too.
There you go again, going back to spiritualism in terms of the Bible again for writing the song. So I just want folks out there to know, man, that you know, it's just real consciousness, not only consciousness from the heart, but consciousness from a spiritual perspective, you know. So
for real.
Again, like I say again, big up yourself, size up yourself, large up yourself, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going back again to the song Dirty Politician, because I know you give us like a synopsis of it before. But you mentioned, I read that you mentioned the fourth verse. And then again, we can talk about destiny. The fourth verse referring to politicians walking through the back door to do their things and get their stuff done. And it was the uprising of the Donald Trump wall. So walk us through the two different scenario there with the wall story and how destiny brought the two things together. Because destiny, you know.
Yeah. So, well, you know, again, you know, the fourth verse of the song was, you know, you can't hide the truth. And there are people who are trying, again, to bury the truth so that the world don't see the wickedness and the evil that they try to perpetuate onto mankind. And when I wrote that song, I didn't write it about Donald Trump. I wrote it about, again, dirty politicians who go through the back door to do a business deal, you know, in the dark where nobody can see what's going on, and hide what, you know, how much money they get slip in their pocket and this, that, and the other. So that whole concept was when I said behind old back a wall, I wasn't saying about Donald Trump building a wall. I was saying the politicians go behind the wall, go in the back of the wall to, so nobody could see them and hear them so they can make their deal. But when Trump came on the scene, that whole fourth verse took on a whole life of its own, because somebody actually put something on YouTube the other day. Yeah, Donald Trump song. Dirty politician. They call him dirty politician, Donald Trump song. I laughed when I saw that. I was like, I didn't write it. Donald Trump was nowhere on my radar when this song was written, but hey, if the two wear it, right?
Destiny.
Yeah, yeah.
like you said, the song chose to come through you, and because it came through you, it came through at the appointed time when.
Hey,
so you say it's falling into place, man.
Yeah, can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. It's one of these things where if you choose to, do the will of God, as opposed to your own will or your own egotism, if you choose to do the will of God, your efforts will last forever. Period. And that is something that a lot of people have problems with, blending the spiritual and the physical and coming up with their purpose.
True.
And a lot of people drift through life without a purpose. They don't know what the purpose is in life. They don't know why they're here. And that's so sad, man, because you have 6 billion people on this planet. Imagine if all 6 billion of us come together with one thinking, one way, one mindset.
Sure.
All would be changed like that.
Sure.
So to me, it's important for people to find a purpose in life and to live that purpose wholeheartedly, 1000%, every minute, every day. And I guarantee you can change the world. Christ did something, changed the world. Buddha did something, changed the world. Muhammad did something, changed the world. All it takes is one man to spark, and 1 billion people gonna catch it. So we as individuals have the power within us because we are God's creation. We have the power within us to make a change for the better. If all of us tap into that consciousness and truth and actually utilize that to make the world a better place, man, God will be here tomorrow morning.
well, you're certainly doing your part, in through the music.
I try.
And yeah,
I try.
So, just keep up the good works on that. Having said that, though, how is the reception back in St. Vincent and the Grenadines with your music? Did you get a chance to distribute it there, like through radio?
Yeah. I know. I spoke to Willis and Jules from Touch, and I think Jules own Flow.
We FM.
Yeah, we FM. Jules own we. And I reached out to them and sent it down. And the thing about it is that St. Vincent, I think, how should I phrase this? I don't wanna upset anybody.
No, say with this, man, because we reason asking that, is because we have artists who just came out and say how it is there, So sometimes the message need to go directly to the people. You don't have to bash anybody, but I mean, you just got to say how it is, because these are the things that would change things, because we want to change it as well.
All right. Well, let me put it to you this way. There's certain radio stations that have their own thing, and even up here in Canada, there's some radio stations who will remain nameless for now. There's certain radio stations that say, yeah, I love your song. Slide me $100, man. I'll play it for you tonight. No, I'm not doing that. You either like it or you don't, and if you like it, you play it. If you don't like it, don't play it. So for me, radio stations have their own agenda. They have their own programming codes and ethics, and they do what they need to do. At the end of the day, the audience will decide if a song is a hit or it's not. If a song gets put into regular rotation or it's not. And I know in St. Vincent, there was, I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name of it. I mean, there's so many radio stations that I'm, dealing with. I can't remember the name of the radio station. Anyways, they played Bless My Soul, Need More Love, and So Sweet a couple of times. And that's great. I mean, I love it, but there's 6 billion people in this world. And my focus is reaching as many of them as possible. Not because of monetary gain, but because of ensuring that I'm fulfilling my purpose, which is injecting consciousness into these people. Because I made a promise to somebody, well, 25, 30 years ago, that I said, when I leave the face of God's green earth, nobody's going to cut up my social insurance number and say, okay, next. When I want to leave here a better place than I found it. So that's always been a motivation for me. And when I was in cadets back home, Dave Yearwood was the regimental sergeant major. And he said to me once, what is the largest room in the world? That was a question he asked me. And I didn't know the answer, to be honest. I mean, largest room in the world, like Buckingham Palace, Taj Mahal, what, you know? And at the end of the night, he told me, the largest room in the world is a room for improvement. No matter how good you are, how bad you are at what you do, you can get better at it.
Oh.
Focusing on moving the stick forward, progression. So that has always been my focus, which is, being better at what I do. If I do it today this way, tomorrow I want to do it at least 1% better than I did yesterday. So this way I keep evolving and I keep growing and I keep strengthening and I keep building on top of what we laid before. So in St. Vincent, here getting my music played in St. Vincent is a beautiful thing to have happen, but it's not on my priority list, to be honest, because I want to change the outside world. I don't necessarily want to change St. Vincent, but I want to change the outside world because St. Vincent produced me. And I think the world should know what St. Vincent is all about. And that's what I try to do, through the music, is to keep that there's a reason why it was called the land of the blessed to begin with, right? And this is the indigenous population calling it such, right? So they know something. They know something about consciousness and truth and righteousness and all that. Like as an example, and I go back to Dr. Kirby. He told me that back in the 1700s, a whole bunch of British naval ships came to St. Vincent to try to defeat the Caribs, to take over St. Vincent and turn it into a plantation. But they couldn't win. Every time they go in to do battle with the Caribs, they would get the behind kicked and they would go back. They would come back out of go back onto the ships. So what they did is that they told the king of the Caribs to come on one of these ships to sign a peace treaty, and they held the man captive and told all the Caribs, if you want to see him alive, you better come on these ships too. They took these people and take them to Honduras. 17 British frigates full of Vincentians, full of Hyrunans, if you will. Took them all the way up to Honduras. So if you look at the population of Honduras, Nicaragua, all of these surrounding countries, all have roots coming from St. Vincent. You're talking 6-8 million people now that have grown out of that shipment of people from St. Vincent in the 1700s to Honduras. 6+ million people can call themselves Vincentian because of that.
Wow.
And again, they don't teach you that in school.
Don't teach you that in school.
Yeah. So, there's so many things that happened in the past, not just with St. Vincent, but just history in general, that, we killing one another over something that may or may not be true based on whoever translate the Bible here, or whoever translate this doctrine here, or whoever translate that. We killing one another over this. Why? Why? Because it's wrong. At the end of the day, we need to know what is truth for ourselves. You have your road to go on. CP got his road to go on. I got my road to go on. Who am I to judge you because of the road you're walking on? That's your path in life. I can't judge you for that. I don't have the authority, nor do I have the spiritual strength to judge any man. I'm not God.
Yeah, and it's a sad thing when you said about the airplay rotation in St. Vincent, and you're not the only artist to experience that, and especially when you're on foreign soil, trying to send back your music in St. Vincent. And like you said, it's not even so much for monetary gain because your population is so small. It's not really,
True.
but you know, you just want to spread the love around, and you feel that it's your birthplace, and you know, it'd be nice for them to taste your music and enjoy it as well. So you're not the only artist who's experiencing that, but a lot of other foreign artists, you know, are experiencing that. So that's why we have programs like these to get you know, people out there, and Vincent Internet Radio will you know, you try to push your music and push especially, you know, Vincentian.
Well, you know, I asked Ozzy if he would be interested in coming on with me today, but he had some family business to take care of. So, but if it wasn't for that, he would have been on with me today as well.
Yeah. Remind him, send him an invitation to come on to this radio as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I'll talk to him. No worries. And you know, I just love being able to, you know, to participate in helping spread the message, helping spread the awareness of you know, just how much riches St. Vincent has to offer in terms of people, in terms of the country itself, you know, in terms of nature. I mean, I said it before, and I've traveled the Caribbean. I've been from Trinidad all the way up to Cuba throughout life, and I can tell you this: there's no island like St. Vincent. And I mean, some of the people that I've traveled with in the past, when we went back to St. Vincent in 2005, you know, that was a whole different experience. But anyways, I went back to St. Vincent in 2005, had lunch with Sir James Mitchell in Beckwith. We talked about, you know, the future of the country, and he says to me, "Why don't you come back and run for politics?" And I looked at him, I was like, you don't want me in politics, trust me. You don't want me there. You don't want me anywhere close to that. You know? So, you know, he says, you know, we need people who've been exposed to the outside world to come back and bring that experience and, you know, help make the place a better place, and so on and so on. So I get the vibe he was on. But, you know, when I went back in 2005, some of the people that I was with that went back with me said, you know, we've been here, we've been there, we've been to these, you know, why didn't we come here sooner? Kind of thing, right? And I said, well, you know, I wanted you to see what the Caribbean is all about, and then compare it to St. Vincent, and then you be the judge of what you think and what you see. So a lot of people love St. Vincent, man, and I mean, I can't say I blame them. I love the place, bad, you know, love it.
Well, it's probably so. Why you think you would be a good politician for them? Why you think? Why did you turn down the opportunity? What was the?
Well, I'll tell you why. You look at a politician, okay? They go into office for 4 years, and they may not win the next election, but they go into politics for that 4 years. And when they come out of politics, these men's bank account now have 7 digits, 6 digits behind it. So that clearly tells me that there's something going on when you become a politician. You know, and I'm not knocking all of them. There's some that actually do have purpose and do believe very strongly that they can make the world a better place, and God bless them, power to them. We need more of those. But 99.9% of the politicians out there get into politics not because they think they can make a difference to the people that they're representing, but they can make a difference to themselves by lining their own pockets with the people's money. That's why you only see politicians every 4 years. Every 4 years, they're your best friend. They're knocking at your door 3-4 times a week. But before the election come around, you can't find them. They're nowhere to be seen. You know? So politics to me is divisive, and it's corrupt, and I want nothing to do with it. That is the complete opposite of godliness. So for me, no, let them politicians stay where they are, what they want to do. I'm gonna go over here where I know, my purpose has value. So
Allan Agard, you just won me over. If I wasn't a big fan, you just won me over there, because what I listen to there is a man of principle, and that makes me think that your music, your music has a lot of principle in it. So, again, man, I have to say again, big up yourself, Who were your musical idols growing up? I know you spoke about the Jamaican artists, but let's say in and around the region or people, someone you look up to musically.
In the Caribbean. Okay. Sparrow, for sure. Kitchener. Stalin. Who else? Arrow. There's more. The Bonavista Social Club from Cuba. These men are up in the 80s and 90s, but you should hear the music they play. Lord, I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking about the music they play, man. It sent a tingle up my spine the first time I see them play live. In the 80s and these, I was like, what? Okay. Well, there's hope for me then.
And I will let CP jump in after this. So you came to Canada as a kid. What was it like in the household in Canada, musically, like in terms of listening to reggae or Caribbean music? What was it like there?
Well, for me, what I had to do was go to the record store and buy up all the reggae and soca that I can put my hands on. And then I made cassettes like crazy. I always had a cassette in my pocket or a cassette in the car. Back then you used to have a Walkman.
Walkman, yeah.
Yeah. So I had cassettes all over the place. So anytime I was ready, so I grab a cassette and I'm good to go. That's what I did. I went out and I spent a lot of money on buying records and making cassettes out of those records and sharing them with friends and family. And typically, like the way it was back home when we were growing up, like on a Saturday or a Sunday, that's when the music come on. When mommy and daddy cooking dinner, the music playing in the background and everybody good time. So that's how it was even up here. That transcended into Canada, where on a Sunday we would play, my mother spent time in Trinidad when she was, in her mid-teens to early 20s. And she introduced me to Parang, because in Trinidad, Parang is big for Christmas and all. Yeah, so she introduced me to Parang and man, I tell you, I had a good childhood growing up back home, man. Good childhood. Can't complain. No computers or anything like that back then. So you give a man a tin can and a piece of string,
yeah, man.
Let him play, and you're out there for hours with this tin can and a piece of string and experimenting and doing this, that, and the other. Here now, people with a computer, they're in one spot and they sit there and they do their thing and they just block out the world. No, man, go out and enjoy life.
True.
Rule by subjection. This is the time.
You listen to the Fresh Queen song, you listen to Vinci Internet Radio, and you listen to an interview with Allan Agard, the brothers out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, based in the Toronto area, from the Conscious Underground. But I want to shout out a few of our listeners online. Advira McKenzie. We have Orvin Marican. Orvin, thanks. Yesterday was a great interview. Colin DJ Saint, thanks for walking on. And Monty Lovewood, a former teammate of mine.
Ah.
Yeah, in my soccer days.
You too, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, so as you're saying, the way you put your music together, the way you put gel, when come to the band room, how do you gel with the other instruments and with the other players? So how that gelling goes?
Well, the great thing about this is that, like, Ozzy has been doing music for a long time, right? He's been, I mean, Ozzy and I go back to prep school. That's when I knew Ozzy, from prep school back home. And when I left St. Vincent in 81, he told me that he had left St. Vincent and he went to Trinidad. He, do some work with Sparrow and all that. Ended up in New York. So that brotherliness, if you will, was always there because, we joined cadets together, all of these things. So when we reconnected back in 2015, 2016, when we reconnected, it was like a 20-minute conversation and we were up to speed, like we had just seen each other the day before kind of thing. And even though it's been years. So from that perspective, Ozzy has a handle on, it took us a couple of years, but Ozzy has a handle on what goes on in my head. Like, I don't know how he does it, but he can tap into my head and actually hear what I'm hearing in my head and play it. So, we'd be in the studio and I would say, okay, something? On this particular part, I want the keyboard line to go like this. And he's like, okay, let me see. And he was, you sure that's what you're hearing? I said, well, actually, no, that's not what I'm hearing. As opposed to going like this, I think it's actually going like that. And he said, well, that will make no sense. And you mean this? And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I want. So now I don't have to tell him. I just tell him the concept behind the song. And I tell him, as an example with Love Yourself, I said, this, as far as I'm concerned, is going to be a reggae ballad. And he goes, okay, I don't want to hear anything more. I said, but I want gospel R&B, and I want gospel R&B and reggae in it, and jazz. So if you listen to Love Yourself, the harmonies are actually doing gospel. So the background singers are singing gospel the way we arranged it. We use a thing called voice box, that's actually Ozzy singing using the voice box. That's the R&B feel to it, right? The solo on the third verse, that's the jazz. And of course you have your backbeat, reggae backbeat. So that's what I'm saying, reggae is so, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's so flexible that you can blend, it gives you the space to blend other types of genres into it nicely if it's done well, So in terms of the musicians and everybody involved, the vibe is great. We trying to bring more Vincies into the mix, to be honest. Like Deanna, she's not Vincentian. She's actually Canadian, but half Canadian, half Jamaican. Ozzy and I from St. Vincent. And some of the other musicians are from St. Lucia, Grenada, and Jamaica. But we're trying to bring more Vincentians into it to, at the end of the day, I love everybody that's being involved, but I want to make it a family affair, The more Vince that can bring in, the better it is for me, as far as I'm concerned.
It's a family affair.
Yeah. That to me would make my life beautiful, to be honest.
Yeah. Getting back to the Conscious Underground, where the idea came from for us for the Conscious Underground? Where did you first develop that idea?
Yeah. Well, again, going back to the interview, the debate, I should say, with Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, it was very clear to me at that time that Mitt Romney didn't want to release his taxes. He was pushing back hard on everything Obama was saying about releasing his taxes. The man is worth back then he was worth like $250 million, but didn't want to release taxes and was trying to bury the truth so that nobody can question what was going on. So I said, okay, I see what's going on here. These people have their own agenda. They have their thing that they're trying to work on. In the process of doing that, they're trying to bury the truth. They're trying to hide the truth. So I said, okay, if you want to bury the truth, that's okay. Because wherever truth is, it will live. And it will live until it gets a chance to break out. So I said, okay, look at a tree. You plant a seed in the ground and you don't see nothing. But magically something happens over a period of time and you start seeing this little tree growing out of the ground. But what you don't see is the consciousness of the tree, which is underground, roots, right? So with those roots being underground, to me, that's the strength of the tree. So I looked at it from that perspective. Okay, the conscious underground is the thing that you don't see, but it's there. You just got to dig for it. You got to look for it. You got to listen for it.
Yeah, because when I did a little bit of research on the conscious underground and realized that where you are, it seemed to be something of a more spiritual, political side that you're trying to bring out. Yeah. And then I say, yes, this basically, you know where you're going, or you have a direction with what you want to take, whether your music or the things that you're talking about. So that I can see that now, because when we talk about music, as you say, is the song of food or whatever you want to use music for. Music have no ending.
True.
Right? True. Some people use music when they maybe have a big bag with the people, a little confusion, and sometimes it helps to blend you together.
Absolutely. And you see, that's the power of music, right? I mean, you go to the US back in the 50s, where people like Little Richard and Sammy Davis Jr. and all these guys were trailblazers. Little Richard said it best, that when he was in Macon, Georgia, just coming out in like 54, 53, 54, somewhere around there, he said for the first time in his life, he went to do some show. And he was, he went on, he started playing the piano, and he says he looked around and he says, all of a sudden, Black people and white people tear down the barriers, tear down the police tape, tear down all of the fencing they put up to separate them, and come as one people in front of the stage to enjoy the show. Nothing else would do that other than music, period. So to me, music is a force that has to be respected. It is a holy force because according to the Bible, the first musician was Jubal. Jubal in the Bible was the man who created the first musical instrument. And he created that musical instrument to give thanks and praise to who? The Almighty. Not to pick up a woman down the road and, all of that kind of thing. So to me, music has a purpose in life. It's not about vanity. It's about upliftment of the human condition, the human spirit, the human mind, the human soul. Lift us up so that we can become better and greater than who we are today. That's, in essence, why the Conscious Underground does what it does.
So what the future holds for you and members of your group?
Well, we want to do more live shows coming up, and that will happen. And we're going to start rehearsing probably sometime in the summer. Because I know that there are a couple of things coming up that we would probably have an opportunity to get involved with. So more live shows. People tell me to do a video for Love Yourself, but to me, there's a reason why you don't see any of our pictures attached to the songs or any videos attached to the songs, because we want it to be about the music. We want people to hear the music, irrespective of who we are, where we come from, what we look like. Do you like the song? Yes. All right, good. Enjoy it. But yeah, so definitely more live appearances for sure coming up. Somebody also told me I should consider, submitting my music for a Juno award. And I said, nah, I'm not here for accolades of men. The group is not here for the accolades of men. The group is here to do a job. The group is here for a purpose. Let us fulfill that purpose, and then the accolades will come. I'm not, like this thing about, making myself or making the band look a certain way. I'm not into that. It's about the music. It's about consciousness. It's about doing God's will, and it's about making the world a better place, one soul at a time.
You listen to Vinci Internet Radio, and you listen to the program Strictly Vinci. We have with us a Vincent and Allan Agard. He's based in the Toronto area. want to say a pleasant welcome to Cowboy Charles. Thanks for locking on to Vincent Internet Radio.
Allan, I just got to touch back. I was going to ask you also about that, the video, putting videos to your music, but you just answered it. I just want to go back on the Ozzy Girlie, because I think I heard you said earlier on, like someone told you to hook up with Ozzy, and then Ozzy's in Toronto.
Yeah.
And you and Ozzy actually went to school, went to, is it prep school, is it?
Yeah, it's in Vincent, yeah.
Right, so that just shows another story of destiny, man. Like, you know.
You're right.
Yeah, and I don't know if that person you knew Ozzy like that good that you think, but there it is. You're in the same city with Ozzy and didn't even know that, that your childhood school friend is right there.
Yeah,
you know?
For real.
Destiny, you know, you got it, man. If you have to pick one of your songs to play that's very meaningful to you, not necessarily to an audience, but to you personally, which one would that be?
Wow, that's a tough one, man. Yeah, pick between my children. You're crazy. I don't have a favorite. I don't have a favorite.
You'll have to make a melody.
I don't know. Like, I mean, each song did what it had to do when it was released. Wow.
Because Allan, you know that answer is the diplomatic answer, but we want the real answer. You have a
honestly, I'll be honest with you. I like Love Yourself. I like the message of Love Yourself, and I like the finished product that came out of all of the conversations that we were having while we were recording it, and all of the challenges that we were having, you know, with some of the technology at the time. I think Love Yourself, and I think Love Yourself right now, because it's as an example, by using that voice box that we use. No reggae song has ever used a voice box before. So that's like completely a first time occurrence. So I think just from that perspective alone, this song, you know, Love Yourself, broke new ground for us. To be on the charts in the UK and to be in the charts in Canada was a big step. The song before that, So Sweet, peaked at number 7 on internet radio, indie radio last year, and a lot of that came from Spain. You know, like I don't know what Spain sees in that particular song, but they streamed it, 30, 40, 50,000 times really over the course of last year. So yeah, from that perspective, I think my favorite song right now is Love Yourself, because I like the message and I like the way the song turned out.
So you would say that it's fair to say that So Sweet is probably the most successful one?
Yeah, to date. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I'm with you. I think Love Yourself would be my favorite also.
Okay, cool.
I think because of the lyrics is more sending a message to someone who I think really, really needs it. Not that the others are not sending the message, but it's like a direct thing to someone who's going through.
Right. So,
yeah. Let's take another little bit of So Sweet.
I feel so sweet when I'm next to you. I feel so sweet. You know just what to do. I feel so sweet. Deep down in my soul, I feel so sweet. I think I might lose control. I just got back in town, and it feels so good to me. Right there, baby, is where I want to be.
First thing I wanna do is hug and kiss you.
I feel so sweet.
Wow. It sounds like you went on a trip and you just came back. Is it a personal song or or factual, I should say?
There's some factual and some conversation. So some of the back in the day, you're talking 15 years now, or maybe more. I used to do a lot of traveling for the 9 to 5. You know, travel all over Canada and the US as well on business. And my daughter, she used to feel away anytime I went away. You know, she would cry and I'm gonna miss you, daddy, and all this kind of stuff. So I told her, I said, okay, I'll tell you what, anytime I go away and I come back, I'm gonna bring you a surprise, right? So the first couple of lines in the song, I just got back in town, and if you're good to me, right there, baby, is where I want to be. That was actually written about my daughter, right? Because I'll never forget this. You know, the taxi pull up on the driveway from the airport, and you know, she hear the car and she get out, grab my luggage and everything, and you know, she comes running outside and she would like literally attack me, jump all over me and stuff like this. And the first question is not, did you have a good time? Did you have a good trip? What did you bring for me? Right? So I took that kind of vibe and I said, okay, let me take that, keeping in mind the whole COVID scenario where people are separated and they can't be together. And I wrote the rest of the song based on that. So, but the first 4 lines in the course is actually about my daughter.
I figure it must be something like that. If you have to pick one place that you would like to perform, where would that be?
One place where I'd like to perform, Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. Why?
Yeah. Ethiopia is the oldest Orthodox Christian country in the world. It has ties back to King Solomon, King David. It has, until I guess Selassie was imprisoned in 73. Prior to that, it's been a country that has been Christian for thousands of years. The roots of Ethiopia go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So to me, being in the Aksum Hills in Ethiopia, to me would be the same as the Jews walking on Mount Sinai. You know, that is a holy place. And I would love to go to Ethiopia and do something there. Yeah, for sure.
Man, I hope that your wish come through very, very, very soon. In all that. Where would people find your music right now?
You can find it anywhere. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on iTunes. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it. It's on all of the digital outlets out there, all of the digital stores, streaming services. It's on TikTok. It's all over the place. It's all over the place.
Okay, and how can people follow Conscious Underground and Allan Agard?
Yeah. I had a conversation with Carrie Mullins here in Toronto not too long ago. She's a DJ, and her sister Tanya Mullins. You may probably know Tanya Mullins. She won a couple of Junos for Reggae Album of the Year. So I was speaking to Carrie the other day, and she wanted me to join Instagram. You know, and I'm not a social media kind of guy. I am on social media on Twitter and on LinkedIn. That's it.
You need not to cut you off, man. You need to be on. I wasn't an Instagram guy. I just since the program, I just linked up on Instagram, and that's where there's a younger generation there.
And that's exactly what she told me. That's exactly the same thing she told me. She goes, "Boy, what's wrong with you? Join Instagram." And I'm like, you know, I'm having so much difficulty now managing.
Yes.
You know, like I want to add one more to it. I might have to hire somebody to do this to me full time or something. I don't know.
I have them all, but I honestly hardly use my Twitter. You know.
Yeah. Okay.
I hardly use my
Okay.
Twitter. So if you have to sacrifice, I'll say. And my problem right now is that I don't have a lot of followers. So when I add an artist or whatever, they look at my profile and they say, he only has like
It looks
100
deceiving,
followers.
man.
Yeah, so it's
know?
that's the story behind it. But yeah,
So you're telling me I should get Instagram, huh?
you should be on Instagram, man.
Okay.
You should be on Instagram.
All right. All right. I'll see what I can do over the next couple of days.
Yeah, and you know you can post small real postings about your song, and you know, but yeah, Instagram you really have to be posting also, you know, like just like Facebook. But
I'm not on Facebook, and I have no intentions of going on Facebook.
right. So join Instagram because you're more personalized there than people and anyone being your friends, and anyone seeing your daily whatever. Like I was hesitant at first because I thought you have to post your every move on Instagram because it's Instagram. But
Yeah.
no, it's
Okay. All right. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. So sorry to cut you off. You were saying about that's the story behind your social media. Yeah. So so just work on it, man, and don't worry. I can, when you do, add me, CS World TV, and
Okay.
I see the radio is there too, but he's hardly on Instagram too.
Okay. Gotcha.
He's more a Facebook guy. He's more a Facebook guy. I'm both, but yeah,
Okay.
I'm both.
Okay. Yeah. So if anybody want to hook me up, they can hook me up on Twitter for now. But you know, in the coming days and week also, I should have something on Instagram.
Yeah. And if there's anything that I miss out, I'm gonna pass you over to CP. But Allan, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. You taught us a lot, you know, CP and myself. Give us a little bit of history, you know, and you not only talked about, you know, your music, you just enlightened us in general. You give us a little bit of education about our country, our history, stuff like that. So I just want to tell you, man, I appreciate all the work that you and the Conscious Underground are doing. You know,
Thank you.
Keep up the good
It means a lot.
work. Yeah, don't stop, because the only way is up, like you say, the largest room for improvement. And I know CP is going to tell you it's not going to be your last time, but I'll leave that for you because we surely want you back. You know, anytime you have any new projects, you know.
Yeah.
For me, I talk too much, you know. So I get, man, all the best in your future endeavor. And
Bless love to you, brother. Bless love to you.
Guidance, manners, and respect.
Amen. Amen to that.
Allan, I just want to say that it's been an inspiration. We have a few Vincentian. They were locked on. I think they were locked on from the beginning. So
nice.
That's also good, because we need to spread it. I whatever we can do to make Allan name a household name or a semi-household name in and the Grenadines, we're gonna do that.
Excellent. You know something? There's a lot of work to be done, but as far as I'm concerned, you can never give more and receive less. If you put the work in, look at it this way: as a farmer, okay, you get it. As a farmer, there's no guarantee you're gonna get a crop at the end of all that work, but you till the ground, you put the seeds in the ground, you water it, you chase away the birds and the animals that try to get the seeds. And somewhere along the way, something magical happens and you have a crop. But you have a crop that is 100 times bigger than you planted. You plant one seed of corn, you get all of this corn after the fact. So work the land, put the seeds in, you know, do the work that you have to do to protect it and keep it. And eventually you get a crop. So the same with the music, you know, you cannot go through life without putting into the bank account to take out. The bank account is experience, expertise, struggle, strife, whatever. And at the end of that process, you come out with something that is way more valuable than you went in with it the first time. So for me, the work will continue because it has to. As long as there's so much wickedness in the world, we have a job to do. You know, as Vincentians, as people in the music business, we have a work to do to let everybody know that this world could be a much better place if we organize ourselves more effectively. And through programs like this, and the avenue that you allow people like to come on here and talk about stuff that we talk about. Some of it could be very touchy, some of it could be, politically charged. So I thank you for having an open venue where we can actually sit down and discuss these things. So much respect for that.
Remember, I told you, it's open. It's not about us. It's about you. I don't know if you picked that up in my email.
Yeah. I got that.
Email say it's you.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to talk about, you come onto Vincent Internet Radio, and you just we don't have to we don't have to be negative about anybody. We don't have to bring anybody down, but we just have to let people know the truth.
True.
The truth shall set you free.
Amen.
If the truth is gonna set you free, here's the place where let the truth set you free. So all in all, man, anytime you want to come back to it, anytime you have anything to do, anytime you want a promotion of anything to promote, don't be shy.
Well, I'll tell you, the next time I come on, there will be new music, and I'm going to bring Ozzy with me.
You can bring a few members of the band to
you. You can bring more people of the band, We don't just, it's you.
Yeah.
If you want to bring the whole of Toronto, just bring the whole of Toronto. when we invite you, you can bring whoever you want.
All right, I got you.
If you want to bring the whole band, then you can bring the whole band. We have no problem with that.
Okay, I thank you.
We always send an open invitation.
Much love.
Whatever you want to do to promote your music, whatever you want to do, just let me know. We are here, and I think one thing I noticed about some artists is that after the interview, we kind of keep it up for people but we need something from you to say, wait, what you're doing, because I need to clip it into your music, and a lot of people don't really realize that also help to promote the music. If you want to just send me some voiceover, so I can clip it in either before your song or after your song.
Okay, no worries.
Because we are basically here to promote, because sometimes I might leave a few voiceover, but at the same time, with your voice coming in and say, this person, remember this, listen to this person on the interview now. So it helped to drive.
Okay. I'll get something to you in the coming weeks for sure.
Yeah.
Some kind of a jingle or something. Leave that with me.
Yeah, so that's what we want, because we are really here to promote, and my thing is that people will say anything about my station. My station is 100% Vincy. I mean, I push other cultures. I have no problem with that. But Vincy come first.
I hear that. Respect to the max.
Vincy music come first.
Yeah.
Wow.
And to have an avenue like this available to Vincentian artists anywhere in the world, really, right? Because everything is digital now. So anywhere in the world there's a Vincentian artist that want exposure to the Vincentian community, the diaspora across the world. This will be the spot to come, and I'll make sure people know that.
Yeah, because even have interviewed some artists from live in England as well.
Yeah, see?
So
yeah.
We do.
There's a guy I used to go to school with back home, Albert Trotman. Albert is living in the US now, and he's also a singer in a reggae group in England and in the US. So I'm gonna reach out to him and say, if you want some exposure to the Vincy community, I'll point him to you.
And Allan, not only music we do like book reviews, whatever progress anybody from St. Vincent makes, we highlight, we try to highlight them, bring them on and stuff like that. So
and I mean
anything Vincy pretty much,
Yeah, all right. But and I gotta say one thing to both you gentlemen, and that is, the content that you guys put out day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. You must love what you do. And I'm thankful that I have people like you in this business doing what you guys do, because you know how much effort goes into a radio station, much less an artist, you know, writing, producing, arranging, you know, recording, all of this stuff. You know how difficult that could be. So God bless both of you, gentlemen, for what you guys did. You know, I really appreciate it, and it makes what I do so much more enjoyable. So thank you for that.
I can tell you it's sleepless nights sometimes. Sometime at midnight, I'm getting a message from Mr. Moulton says, I don't know how he knew that I'm still up at that time.
Okay.
But we seem to be communicated at midnight.
No, it's subliminal communication, huh?
Yeah. Sometimes I say, boy, I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm just ready to go. I'm just about to go to bed, you know?
Yeah.
But that's tell you, because a lot of people don't really realize the amount of work and the amount of effort and the sleepless night you have to run a radio station like this, because most of the time at night, I have to prepare the program for next day.
Yeah.
I'm preparing the program for next day. Sometimes things slipped in and you want to slip something in and you want to, it's hard work in the sense of there, but you love it. So it never seemed to be
exactly
anything to
the
you.
labor of love.
Yes. For me, it's never going to bed at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, is what I love to do.
Excellent.
And once you love it, I can be up all night, you know. So sometimes a lot of people don't really know, but it as you say, it's a lot of hard work. But in the long run, the joy that you get from doing this, the joy that you get from putting on a program like this, you know, it feels so nice when people respond to you, and especially Vincentian, you know. I feel a lot more at ease when I have a Vincentian and the other side of my program, you know. So sometimes here, and this is what happened when we finish the program, you know, we just keep chatting all the time. I think most of our time spent chatting after the program.
Okay. Interesting.
So I tell you, it's not X amount of time, it's whenever you want. So sometimes we stay here like half an hour just chit-chatting like this. You know, we do that because we give people, because sometimes there might be something that we wanna talk about and we wanna get, because we all have intention. So there's always something that we wanna see after. So
wow.
Always give it a chance to do that.
Wow. You know, I today, like March 19th, I lost my brother. He passed away. Bert was his name. And he was probably one of my biggest supporters. You know, like he would come visit me and I would say, hey, I got an inspiration last night and, you know, this is what I have so far. And you know, he would ask me like, what kind of vibe you want to do? You know, like, you have any ideas for lyrics? And you know, this is how the melody would go on. And I'll never forget this. The day he passed away, the night before, he told me, he said, hey, I'm coming to see you because I know you have a new song, which is Love Yourself. I know you just finished a new song, so I'm coming over to listen to it, and never made it. But I realize now that it's not how long you live, it's how well you live. There's some people that live to be 30 years old, but made such an impact on people that I feel like they live to be 100. And there's some people who live to be 100 and never really do anything with that time. So one of the things that I realize now is I have to continue my path. I have to continue my journey, because it's not just about me. It's about everybody else involved in the Conscious Underground and their journey with this as well. So for me, this song, Love Yourself, is going to be forever attached to my brother, because of, you know, when he passed away. And I am thankful that I had a friend and a brother at the same time in him. But, and you know, he had told me the day he called me, you know, that I said to him, I said, listen, you know, you're getting up there in age, bro. You got to take care of yourself, man. He says, yeah, he goes, one God already told me he can come take me in my sleep. And that's exactly how he died that night, in his sleep. So for me, it's about truth, real, peopleness, togetherness, family. And, you know, one thing his passing taught me is that the people that mean the most to you, tell them that while you still have them. Because there will come a time when you maybe can't tell them how you feel or they're not around anymore. So every day, tell the people that you love, you know, that they mean something to you at that point. And, you know, live life to the fullest every day, every moment. That's all I can say. And the preaching is done.
Well, once again, man, it was a real wonderful interview. We really enjoy it. Really enjoy being around you, you know. And
Well, thank you. I enjoyed myself here too because I get to meet new members of the family. So this is beautiful.
And sympathy to you and our sympathy to you and
Thank
your
you.
family.
Thank you.
The loss.
Thank you.
anytime, Alan, man, anytime you want to reach out, just reach out and we'll do that for you. Once again, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Blessed love to everybody listening to this program, whether you hear it today, tomorrow, next month, or next year. Peace and love, and may the Spirit of the Almighty God strengthen your minds, hearts, souls, and bodies in this journey. Blessed love.